All right, so we're going to start standing tall, arms down by our sides. We're going to tuck our chin to our chest and slowly roll down vertebrae by vertebrae. You can have a slight bend in your knees, but only go as far as you can reach. You don't have to touch the ground. Give your hips a bit of a shake. I find that helps me sink a bit lower. And then you're slowly going to roll up vertebrae by vertebrae and bringing your arms up and around into a nice little back bend. And then we're going to roll back down again, chin to chest, all the way down. See if you can sink a little bit lower this time. And then you're going to roll back up, vertebrae by vertebrae. Arms overhead into another little back bend. Don't arch your low back, just reach, get a nice stretch in the upper back and then roll back down. And from there we're going to walk out into the top of a push-up. And we're going to go into downward facing dog. So what you want to do is push your hands away from the ground and bring your hips up and back. In downward dog you can have bent knees. It's more about getting a straight line from your hands out through your tailbone. So try to get that. Don't have an arch in your upper back. You want to have that flat. You can have a bend in the knees. And from there, we're going to do 10 bear squats. So you're dropping your knees down into this, what's called the loaded beast position. So you want to have it nice and tight. You want to have your knees come close to your chest and then back up. Again, you don't have to straighten those knees back out fully. Whatever's comfortable for you. But when you're at the top in that A-frame, you want to squeeze your quads before you drop back down. So do about 10 of those. And then back into the downward dog. From here, you're going to straighten yourself out and draw your right knee to your right elbow. And then you're going to come back up into three-legged dog. And keep your hips parallel here. We're going to rotate them out on the next one. And then drive that knee back towards your elbow. And then when you go up this time, we're going to go into elevated scorpion. Rotating that hip over. And then we're going to drive back forward again. Knee to elbow. And this time we're going to drive up into elevated scorpion. And you're going to lift also your right hand off the ground and rotate around into a low tripod position. Your wrist should be under your shoulder. And then you're going to drive your hips up into a tripod reach over. And make sure your feet are under your knees. They're not all, your knees aren't really far ahead of your ankles. You want to extend your hips fully. And you're going to drop back down and you're going to rotate back around into downward dog. I want to do the same thing on the other side. I'm going to drive that left knee toward our elbow. And then we're going to go up into three-legged dog. Keep your hips parallel with the ground. Don't rotate them on this one. Nice long line. And you're going to drive that knee to your elbow again. And then back out into elevated scorpion. So this one's rotating the hip and around. Let that stretch out. And again, drive your knee back towards your elbow. Hold that. and then come back around. We're going to rotate around into that tripod position. Over time you'll be able to perfect it so that you get to the proper position every time, where your feet should be under your knees, and your feet hip width apart. And you can follow your hand up and around with your eyes as you reach over, and then you're going to drop back down and rotate back around. And from there you're going to drop down into the quadruped position. And here we're going to do the cat-cow pose. So you're going to tuck your toes and arch your back, actively pushing away from the ground with your hands and your knees, all 4 points. Away, arching the upper back. You're going to untuck your toes, and then you're going to do the cow pose, opening up the chest. So shoulders down and back. You don't have to worry about arching your low back, it's getting the upper back. And chest opened up. You're going to tuck your toes back under and do the cat pose again, so actively pushing away. Your armpits, your elbow pits are facing forward. And then you're going to go back into the cow again, opening up the chest. And then you're going to come back to neutral. And from here, we're going to reach up with our left hand. Now we're going to stack our shoulders one on top of the other here. Get a nice twist, reaching up to the sky. And then we're going to thread our arms through, and we're going to lay down on our shoulder. And our hand that we threaded through, our palms facing up, so the back of our hand's on the ground, and we're actively pushing into the ground and reaching out. So you're going to feel that extra stretch by doing that. Feel that out. And then you're going to reach with your opposite hand backwards, again to open up that chest. And then you're going to windmill it around. Don't go fast with this, go slow. You can really feel a stretch as you go through the range of motion. And then you're going to unthread your arm and do the other side. So up, reaching your arm up, stacking the shoulders. Feel a nice twist in the spine, and then reach through, thread the arm through. Again, palm facing up, actively pressing the back of your hand down into the ground. You're really laying on that shoulder and reaching out. You're going to reach back with the opposite arm. Open up the chest. And then you're going to windmill around nice and slow. Feel where the tension is and go through it. And then we're going to go back to neutral position. And we're going to do the same thing again. So arm up. And then we're going to thread it through. Back of the hand pressing into the ground. Feeling a nice stretch in our T-spine. Then we're going to reach back. Windmill the arm around. And we're going to come back up to central, neutral. And we're going to do the same thing again on the other side. Arm up. Stacking those shoulders, because you want the twist to be in your upper spine. And then we're going to thread through. Palm up, actively pushing the hand back into the ground. You're reaching back. Windmilling around. Coming back to neutral. And from here, you're going to stick one leg up to the side into a kneeling Cossack. And you're going to rock back and forth. Do this about 5 to 10 times on each side. You can lift the toe up off the ground or not, I like to. And then you're going to do the same on the other side. 5 to 10 on each side, or more, whatever feels good for you. And then come back to center, and you're ready to roll.